How many people do you get to try on in your life? 5, if you're lucky. If you're attractive and fortunate, you get 5 cracks at the piñata. 5 isn't very many. And people think, well, there's plenty of fish in the sea. It's like, that doesn't mean they're gonna swarm around you, buddy. And maybe it's even worse for women because their time frame is very short. Like if a woman isn't in a relationship, family relationship by 30, then it's starting to get pretty damn rough. And that's almost independent of how attractive she is. It's like, you don't have much time. Better get yourself prepared.
When you say pretty damn rough, what do you mean? To find a mate or to have a child? Or...
Both. Well, we know now that at the present time in the West, half of women 30 and younger don't have a child.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, we also know that couples 30, 1 in 3 couples at 30 already have trouble conceiving. And that definition of trouble is 1 year of attempt with no success. Okay, so fertility goes off a cliff at 35. So 30, you're pushing your luck at 30. At 35, you are seriously pushing your luck. I worked for 10 years with a strata of the highest achieving women likely in Canada. I had, as part of my clinical practice, a offering that we made to consulting firms and law firms. And the offer was, send us your best people and we'll work for them. But the consequence of that is that they'll be even more productive. So in the typical law firm, for example, there's people who don't do well. Then there's people who are good lawyers. Then there are people who are good lawyers that bring in business. There's like none of them. They're super valuable. And if a law firm has someone like that, they want to keep them. And they're often women, half the time, let's say. And those were the women. I worked with a bunch of men too, but I'll concentrate on the women here. Those were the women I was working with. They were generally extremely attractive, extremely intelligent, very hardworking, and very focused on career development. And they'd done very well in junior high school and high school. Then they, aced college and their LSATs. And then when they were articling, the firms snapped them up quickly, and then they rocketed up towards partnership. And then they were 30, and they all thought, what the hell am I doing working 70 hours a week with a bunch of insanely competitive men? Right. And that is the question. It's like, what are you doing? Exactly. And then even if you're radically successful, let's say in your law school career, if you get run over by a bus on the way to work, the waters just close over you at the firm and the firm continues on. It's not like anyone cares. Not really. So now I'm not saying that people shouldn't pursue a career. I'm not saying that. But I would say even in my case, and I'm male, so that makes a big difference, because men are also oriented towards status, competition, victory in a way that women just aren't, at least not in the career domain. And the reason for that is very straightforward. And the thing that makes men, by default, most attractive to women is their comparative success in the hierarchy of men. It's a walloping predictor. And it's irrelevant to men. Like, men don't care at all whether women are successful in their career. It's not a determinant of their attractiveness. In fact, it's often the contrary. Well, these women that I'm talking about, they were often alone. Why? Well, they're beautiful. So that intimidated 90% of men right there. They're smart. So that's another 90% of the remaining 10%. They're accomplished and wealthy. Well, first of all, who's going to approach them? And second, who are they going to accept? Because women are hypergamous, right?
Does that mean that men are insecure and sort of emasculated by a strong, successful woman?
Yeah, well, but there's reason for that. It's not weakness on the part of men, exactly. It's the desire of the woman to find someone who brings a benefit to the relationship. And why? Well, because a woman will make herself vulnerable when she has a child. And so she's looking for a man who'll be helpful compared to her. Okay, so if the woman is full of ability, well, then her standards for a guy who's going to be helpful get very high. And that's hard on her because it decreases the pool of available candidates radically. So like there's a negative relationship between IQ and women and the probability of being married. So it's harsh. Now, are men intimidated? Well, yes, obviously. Are men intimidated by beautiful women? Well, you can answer that, especially if you're young. Why? The probability that any given beautiful woman is going to reject you when you're a young man is like, it's basically 100%. Now, it's not exactly 100%, and there are exceptions, but the default response is rejection. And beautiful women get hit on, a fair bit.